Okay, so we're going to strip the Josper to make it work more efficiently. So I'm going to run through every step and then we'll get started. Okay, so first one, we're going to take the main grids out. Just going to brush some of the excess off now. There's no way of doing this job cleanly, you do to make a mess, so just be prepared. I always put gloves on just to stop my hands from turning black. So we're just going to lift that one out. We'll do the same on the bottom one. Now we want to get rid of all of our charcoal which is sitting in the bottom, so we just need our rake. So we're just going to go in, get all the dust into the bottom tray. Obviously this has been left from last night, there is still a little bit of heat in it, so you just need to be careful. But we've shut all the vents down at the end of service last night, so there wasn't any oxygen getting in. There are still a couple of bits of charcoal in here, so I'm just going to open up the bottom vent now, just to let that ash release into the tray. So you just need to release this hook, and then just slowly drop it down. Just shake some first, just so it doesn't all come down in one big hit. And then just drop with all of the axis out. So we're now just going to go back up to the top and just make sure everything's out of the bottom before you remove this, just to make sure you don't have any ash going everywhere. So we're now just going to make sure all the ash is out of the bottom grates, and then once we've done that we'll actually remove the grates. I've now put on some other gloves that can withstand a little bit of heat, just because these grates are still going to be a little bit hot. So you take the brush, brush down as much ash as possible. And we're just going to lift these bars out. Before you remove them completely, just give them another brush off. Side. We'll do that with all of those. So now all the bars are removed, you've just got to take your centre bar out. Give that a little brush. Now, as you can see, there's still quite a bit of ash in the bottom of this, so all I need to do is just push it down into the tray beneath. Okay, so we've now given the inside of the Josper a really good brush out, so as clean as we can get it. Now we're going to pop our centre plate back in, and we're now going to rebuild. Just make sure they're all nice and tight. Okay, so that's the Josper base back together again. So now we're just going to put the grids back in, and then we'll just give all the outside a really good wash. And that's pretty much the interior of that. We're now going to move on to the top part, which is the venting, which is really important as well. Right, now we're going to look after the venting in the top of the Josper, which is really important, just so you've got a really good control over your heat. So grabbing a pair of steps, just going to take the top vent off. Just going to pop them in here so we can see what we're looking at. Loosen this one. You've got this vent in here as well that comes off as well. It does need a bit of persuasion normally to come off. So this is the main one that controls the venting of the upper part. This does get quite stiff, so you do need to give this a bit of persuasion to come out. So what's really important about this part is you've got your 4 parts of your upper venting. The first 3 can get wet. They can go through a dishwasher, they can be hand washed. This one, it's really, really important that you don't put this near any water. All you need to do with this is grab it, and then all we do with it is tap it over the ash box upside down, and then it'll release all this ash. But never get water in this part, it's really important. It will clog up all the ash and it will get really tarry, and then over time, if you keep doing it, it'll just solidify, and then no air will go through this at all, and it'll really damage the Josper. So really important, that one. So I'm just going to take these to the wash up and give these first 3 a wash, and then I'll just tap this one over the ash box. So depending on what configuration of Josper you've got, this one's obviously got grates, and then this one can fit 2 gastros underneath it. Everyone's Jospers are slightly differently, but all we're going to do with this, take the grate out, this will go to the wash up area. And then in this one we can fit gastronome trays underneath that as well, just to catch the excess fat. So all we're going to do is take that to the wash up area as well, and then just going to take out the inner frames, and then they can go to the wash up area as well. Okay, so we're now going to reassemble the Josper, making sure everything's nice and dry. It's had a good wash. Here. Next the budget. Sure that's nice and secure. And we're going to take this one with a rivet at the bottom. Just put that secure on there. And then the hood goes on top of that. So we're now at the stage ready to relight our Josper. So we've given our Josper a really good clean in the morning. So we're now just getting set up ready for breakfast service. So I've put some charcoal on some metal trays. I'm just going to pop these under a grill so they get absolutely roasting. And then I'm going to load the Josper up with the charcoal. Right, so while we're waiting for the coal under the grill to get really hot, I'm now just going to load the Josper up. Ideally, when we're loading the Josper, we're just going to build a nice sort of little teepee just to get the heat, and then once the heat's in it, then we'll then disperse the charcoal. So it can be quite liberal. Probably looking at about half a box to get it started. Just looking for a base now, and then when the hot charcoal comes over, we'll put that on, and then we'll put some more charcoal on the top. So we end up with a little teepee. We'll leave that for 10 minutes, and then hopefully that'll get a really nice heat, and then we'll disperse the charcoal. It's starting to get really hot, so we're just going to load this onto here, and the heat from those will bring the other ones up to a really nice temperature. So at this stage, all I'm going to do is open the vents up as well. So this is in the down position, so just getting as much air flow through it as possible just to get those charcoals really, really hot. We're just going to push this out. So we've got a nice bit of heat in the centre. And then we're just going to take some fresh charcoal, pop it on top, and give it another half an hour, and then that'll be ready for a nice piece of service. In service, if you are loading up mid-service, always try and keep at least half of it absolutely roaring, and then put half with fresh charcoal on, just so you can keep cooking all the way through the service time.